Hello, and welcome back to Movie Recap Factory. Today, we will give you a recap of an action mystery movie from 2002 titled The Bourne Identity. Without further ado, let's get started. Spoilers ahead. The movie starts, and a body with a light flashing from it is seen floating among the waves during a stormy night. A bunch of Italian fishermen is playing cards below decks while a fishing boat goes by. When one of the men tosses some trash overboard, the body is discovered offshore. 5 of the fishermen drag the man aboard their boat after they presume he is dead, but then notices that he is still alive. While the ship's doctor gathers his supplies, they carry him downstairs to their card table and lay him flat. When the doctor turned him around, he noticed several gunshot wounds and began to remove the bullet from the corpse. With a knife, the doctor removes the man's wetsuit, exposing 2 gunshot holes in his back. Following the removal of the bullets, the doctor discovers a scar on the patient's hip, which he then slices up to reveal a little metal object. Before the guy who has recovered consciousness attacks him, he finds out when he checks it that it projects an account number for a bank in Zurich. The doctor is grabbed by the neck and asked what is going on by the patient. In an effort to relax him, the doctor introduces himself as Giancarlo and says that he has to rest because he is among friends. As the doctor questions him about the little metal object that was discovered from the man's hip, the man lets the doctor go. While everyone is working in one area of the CIA, Daniel Zorn walks into Alexander Conklin's office and informs him that the operation has proven to have failed. Conklin examines the image of a lavish boat in his fingers. While recuperating from his wounds and attempting to recollect who he is, Bourne assists the fishermen when they are back on the fishing boat. After spending 2 weeks aboard the boat, Giancarlo visits him, and Bourne informs him that although he can speak many languages and make knots, nothing is coming back. Giancarlo encourages Bourne to relax since it will return because he's so worried and puzzled about it. What if it never comes back, Bourne says. The fishing boat docks in Oneglia the next day. Bourne praises Giancarlo for giving him enough money to travel to Switzerland. He travels by rail to Zurich, confused about who he is and what he must do, and ends up spending the night in the snow on a park bench. 2 cops approach Bourne and ask for identification. They inform him that the park is closed at night and that no one is permitted to sleep there. When he informs them that he is weary and wants to sleep, the cops continue to try to arrest him. Bourne responds by disarming them both and rendering them comatose. When he realizes what he has done, he becomes extremely confused and flees the scene, tossing both his characteristic orange jacket and the police officer's gun. Back at the CIA, guys are viewing a video of Nikwanan Wambosi telling a camera that someone attempted to murder him. A CIA employee adds that the film is taken 2 days earlier in Paris and that Wambosi is an issue because he is producing a book about the agency in which he will identify names. Wambosi wants the CIA to restore him to power within 6 months. The individual goes on to say that the director wants to know if any CIA personnel were involved in Wambosi's murder attempt. Ward Abbott, deputy director, exits the room and talks with Alexander Conklin. Abbott inquires into Treadstone and whether it was engaged in the assassination attempt on Wambosi. Conklin claims that although they had been looking for their assassin for the past 2 weeks, they lost contact with him. The following morning, Bourne walks into the bank. He offers the number from the gadget hanging on his hip after asking to access his account. He is requested to scan his handprint into a machine after being taken on an elevator to a high-security vault. He receives a safe deposit box, opens it, and discovers a passport bearing his name, Jason Bourne, and a Paris address. Then, after lifting the top layer of the box, Bourne discovers several other passports bearing his image, huge sums of various currencies, and a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun. While returning the package, he leaves the pistol inside, but empties the contents into a red bag. He discovers that it has been around 3 weeks when he asks how long it has been before departing. After observing him go, a man picks up a phone call to place a call. Then Bourne connects to his Parisian residence using a payphone. He hangs up after hearing his own voice on a recorded answer phone message and moves to cross the street away from the cops. Bourne is walking along a snow-covered street when he discovers 2 policemen standing across the street observing him. He picks up the pace and dashes in front of a tram, only to turn around and see them pursuing him. As he waits in line at the U.S. consulate, he observes a young woman applying for a visa. He promises Marie Helena Kreutz, a young lady in need of money, $20,000 to drive him to Paris, the city of address on his Jason Bourne passport, when American and Swiss officials try to detain him at the U.S. consulate. Deputy Director Abbott is given the assurance by Alexander Conklin that he will delete any evidence linking them to the field agent behind the botched murder attempt on Wambosi. To eliminate their fellow operator, he activates 3 resources: Castell, Mannheim, and the professor. When Bourne arrives at the location shown on his passport, the building supervisor recognizes him right away and deduces from the items of his flat that he is in the shipping industry. In an effort to get additional information, he presses the redial button on his phone and is connected to the Hotel Regina, who identifies John Michael Caine as one of his aliases from a different passport. They inform him that Caine was a visitor who passed away in an automobile accident 2 weeks prior. Castell breaks through a window and starts a hand-to-hand fight with Bourne as Bourne muses on this. After Bourne has him in check, he tries to question him, but Castell leaps out the window instead, choosing suicide. Castell's luggage has wanted posters with both Marie and Bourne's images on them, which Marie discovers. As he tries to find out who he is and why people are following him, Bourne keeps telling Marie to leave him. She decides to stay with him and supports him in trying to solve the problem with her assistance, even though he advises her to go to the police and explain everything to them. They head to the Hotel Regina after avoiding the Paris police and spending the night in hiding. Marie requests the hotel records for John Michael Caine there. Conklin also has an operative known as the Professor assassinate Wambosi in his house so that Wambosi will believe that Caine, his attempted assassin, has died. Wambosi realizes that the body in the morgue is not his assailant. After looking into the event, the prior assassination attempt, and John Michael Caine's connections, Bourne comes to the conclusion that Caine is the failed assassin. Jason determines that he no longer wants to be who he once was, and as he and Marie flee the city for the countryside to reside at the home of Iman, an old friend of Marie, the professor arrives to assassinate Jason in the morning. In order to divert the professor, Bourne blows up a propane tank with a double-barreled shotgun while running into the woods. In the end, Bourne uses the shotgun to shoot the professor twice, followed by a quick interrogation in which he learns of their shared involvement in Operation Treadstone. The professor says, "Look at us," before passing away nearly instantly from blood loss. See what they force you to give? Bourne sends Marie to go with the remaining cash for her own protection while keeping $30,000 of it. He sets up a rendezvous with Conklin on the Pont Neuf, using the professor's mobile phone, which he exploits as a diversion while placing a tracking device on Conklin's car to find the location of Operation Treadstone's safe house in Paris. Following the car to the safe house, Bourne activates the car alarms of every vehicle parked there. When the commotion frightens away the security personnel, Bourne enters the safe home where Nicky Parsons and Conklin are hiding. He eventually starts to recall his previous assignment when he encounters Conklin, who is holding him at gunpoint. After viewing Wambosi's children, he decided against carrying out the killing since he was unable to suppress his feelings. Then, as Bourne was fleeing the swiftly moving boat, Wambosi shot him, leaving him for dead in the ocean. Following this flashback, he informs Conklin that he is permanently leaving Treadstone and issues a warning about attempting to pursue him. Conklin has secretly set off an alert and had help on the way, he then realized. Nicky is unhurt. Bourne engages in gunfire with a number of CIA operatives, and then he flees into the night. After deciding that Treadstone should be permanently shut down, Abbott orders Mannheim, the final agent, to use a silencer to kill Conklin. After glibly dismissing Treadstone as an inefficient assassin training program in front of an oversight committee, Abbott abruptly changes the subject of the hearing to a plan for a new project with the working title of Blackbriar. Later, while Marie is renting scooters to tourists in Mykonos, Jason discovers her there, and the two are reunited as the movie comes to an end. So, that was all from the movie. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And do subscribe to our channel to view more of our amazing movie recaps. And do hit the bell icon to receive instant notifications from our side. See you all next time.